welcome to this Movement Library video where I'll be speaking about the 4-point parkour style landing. It's one of the softest way of landing that I know of. I've even used it to drop from, I want to say 3.5–4 meters. I'm not sure if it was that high, but it felt incredibly high. So this is the technique that I use if I drop from really high heights and it's not rolling. If you're in a hurry, look for the vertical version of this video that is below 1 minute long, so then you get the gist of what I'm saying and a little bit less of the explanation. 4-point landing, what is it? Here, I'll need you to look at my feet for a little bit. The 4-point landing is a landing where I have so much momentum, so much impact that I also want to use my hands. Hence 4 points. 1, 2 feet, and 3, 4, both hands. The 4-point landing is just a landing that has developed in parkour because there the practitioners take such huge drops and it's not always feasible to do a roll out of it if I don't have a lot of landing space, or actually if I drop down vertically, because a really vertical drop doesn't really allow me well to transfer any momentum forward. So if I do a big jump, then I can do a roll. If I just drop vertically, 4-point landing is the best deal. Here's how it works. Similar to a regular landing, I'm gonna extend on my feet to the maximum. So if you haven't checked out the how to land and jump video, you can find that here somewhere as well. Make sure you check that first. From here onwards, in the 4-point landing, I want to land with my feet a little bit further away because my knees are going to go out to the side so that there's room for my hands to find the ground. Here, at least I make an effort to keep my back somewhat straight. That's what I've perceived as just much more versatile over the years, and it doesn't put as much stress on the curved back. So as I land, I'm going to put both hands to the floor. I try to keep my back somewhat straight so that I'm really using my legs and the mobility that I have here. And then my hands are even going to help me push myself back up if I want to run out of the jump. What the 4-point landing looks like after taking a drop, I want to show you real quick. So I'm going to climb onto this block. Yeah. All right. I'll do a small jump and then land. Claire, thank you for being a good sport and trying to follow me here. 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, there you go. I hope you caught that. I'll do the same thing one more time, just sitting on the edge. So if you practice it by yourself, what I recommend is the first times you just jump and land on the floor like this. So you get a good feeling of what the general rhythm of this motion is like. After you've done that 10, 20, 30, 40 times and you feel comfortable, then you can start moving on to some higher object because the feeling for the jump is really going to change. That being said, if you just did 40 of those jumps, maybe wait for the higher drops for next session. And in case you feel your knees, of course, always start taking a step back. Stop the moment you feel like you get really uncomfortable. That being said, there is a level of discomfort that I experienced that comes from doing the exercise and your knees starting to adjust to more pressure. So I never want to go beyond the point of pain and feeling like, man, something is happening that's not good. But I also don't want to shy away from it because I know the moment I expose my knees to some pressure, they're going to start to adapt. So what we have to do is really gradually work up. So there we go. Next bit. The first time I do it from a height, I'm not going to do it from a jump. I'm actually going to do it sitting on something because here I can really slowly lower myself, extend myself, and focus on the technique as well as I can. The next thing that I want you to pay attention to while you're doing this is never drop your heel onto the floor. Because the moment your heel drops onto the floor, then you've got a risk for bruising something, and then it's when you feel the shock directly travels into your knees. I'll give you an example in just a moment for how you can feel how much shock actually ends up in the knees if you land too much with your heels. For this moment, the technique of how to lower yourself from a first height into the 4-point landing, this is what it looks like. I'll do it one more time. You can see I want to land this really casually. It shouldn't feel like a lot of impact. I want to make this feel really soft, really gentle. Then I can move on to taking off of higher heights. Real quick, the example that I mentioned before. If you stomp your heel into the ground barefoot or with really thin-soled shoes, just do this. And you'll feel the shock in your head. Literally, even try to look somewhere and you'll see how your vision is suddenly shaking. So the whole shock goes all the way up to my brain and my eyes and everything is shifting. Plus, of course, if it arrives here, it must go through all of these joints. Now try to stomp really, really hard with the ball of your foot. If you're persistent enough, maybe you can bruise the ball of your foot, which is not as nice. The important thing though is I don't feel it in my head anymore, because now this spring that my ankle is actually helping me and serving me, taking and absorbing some of that shock. So once you have done all of this and you're getting more comfortable, that's when you can start taking off of something higher. Here I, at some point, like to really bounce out of the motion so that I don't end the motion in the ground, but instead I feel how I'm driven towards the ground and I'm pushing myself back up. It just feels much stronger. So I'm gonna do this for you. Let's do it. All right. Prepared for takeoff. 3, 2, bam. That's it. I hope this was enjoyable. I hope you learned something from it. If I clap and you can't hear me, write something in the comments. Other than that, if there are any questions that you have about how to train it or something that happened during training, please send us a message. Always be careful when you practice and keep on moving well. Peace out. I'm recording a video